President Trump's attorney, and he's also from the American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow. Jay, good to see you.
Hey, Sean.
All right, let's start. Oh, did the FBI, under James Comey, being the director, did they lie when they said that they had no information when you put in a FOIA request as it relates to the Tarmac meeting with Bill Clinton and then Attorney General Lynch?
So here it is. It started a year ago, and we asked for a FOIA request for information, documentation that they have regarding the meeting between President Clinton and Loretta Lynch. The response was straightforward. This is in response to your Freedom of Information Act request. By the way, it was dated October 21st, 2016. The FOIA request came in July. No records responsive to your request were located. No records were located. Then we sent the same request to the Department of Justice, and lo and behold, here it is. We get about 420 pages. And in those 420 pages are emails between guess who? The Department of Justice and the FBI. And the contents and context of those emails is an attempt to create the narrative, define the story, develop talking points. We're getting press inquiries about this. The FBI's Chief of Staff receives an email. By the way, the Chief of Staff, Senior Counsel to who? James Comey, receives an email from the Department of Justice saying we've got to figure out how we're going to respond to all of this. And then take it a step further, Sean. So we've got a lot of those. All of this is to produce what are called talking points, which, like you said, it's unusual that you would think you'd have talking points in a situation like this. Yeah.
Isn't the DOJ and the FBI supposed to be nonpartisan? I thought talking points for politicians and their campaigns. I believe that the DOJ and FBI should not be using talking points. Is that pretty obvious?
Right. Right, but here's the problem. They're trying to create a narrative, and we've been talking about this for a year. Now we finally got results. By the way, we had to go to federal court against the Department of Justice almost a year ago, to get these documents. So this is litigation that's been pending a little less than a year. So we get the documents. All of this leading up to, we've got reports in there, and you mentioned this in your monologue, where a Washington Post reporter saying, hey, I need clarification on this, trying to fix this. New York Times reporter saying, I'm being pressed into duty here. I think I could ask you a few questions and put this to rest, is what the Washington Post reports.
Media
all this is going on.
The same people exposed to have been working with the Clinton campaign and feeding questions, colluding during the campaign.
Yeah, well, even a step further here, the Washington Post reporter states that she modified a paragraph of the report based on additional information that the reporter was provided, and the reporter then states, well, next time I'll know to go directly to you for this rather than to this other person that the reporter went to. But here's the point, Sean. Guess what is not included in the Freedom of Information Act request? The talking points. They redacted those. Here are the talking points. This is what we got. So let me tell you what we're doing Monday. Back to federal court we go, demanding the talking points, which they acknowledge exist, that they created. But again, this shows you exactly what was going on. All of the concerns we had. Yep.
I want to talk about, all right, on to the deep state. And we have Sarah Carter, Greg Jarrett coming up. But I just want your general feeling. Can you remember any time in your lifetime where a sitting president, not somebody like JFK 50 years after the fact, they might release a phone conversation with a foreign leader, Cuban Missile Crisis, whatever it happens to be. Do you remember a sitting president's private phone conversations with a president, like in the case of Mexico, a prime minister like in the case of Australia? Do you remember it ever being leaked at the time? And does that not define just how dangerous the deep state leaking is? A leak a day, it seems.
Yeah, well, I got two levels of concern here. Number one, these were conversations that the president had with the prime minister of Australia, the same with Mexico. These are the leaders of these countries, and he's having these conversations, and those conversations are then put out in the public. And you got to ask yourself this question. I am concerned about issues of deep state. In other words, people that are left over from other administrations that are determined to get information out. But I don't know how deep it is.
All right, Jay Sekulow, thank you.